So who is posting on my... Oh, somebody added me to their story. Heck yeah. Going Freestyle Friday. I'll add Pete to the list. Not now. Perfect.
Hi, everyone.
There's nobody on.
I know. Just trying to get you off your phone. Boring.
Jimbo!
Huh? Aw.
I did. I was like, maybe he's really on.
Oh, maybe that's him.
Oh, somebody. Who is it? Who is it?
I don't know.
Say something, person. Person out there in the atmosphere.
Alicia.
Alicia, hello.
Hi, Alicia.
Where's your song at? Where's your Bite Your Knees at?
Oh, no. You can't do that right now. We're not doing that right now.
Do it real quick.
No.
Just one time.
I've been pondering this plan. You can't, no. Absolutely not.
So how are you going to do it?
You've made some assumptions here.
What assumptions did I make?
I'm saving, I have to, I need to get this down before this goes out.
You did a really good job of it yesterday. We
I
should have
know.
just caught that one raw.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah.
I know that you guys don't know what we're talking about. What's up, Dad?
Hope you're in the bathroom hiding. Remember my suggestions this morning. Put your headphones in.
What happened?
Stay in there. I told them that Freestyle Friday was happening today, and I told them they needed to get to a place where they could. They needed to go to the bathroom,
This is
get in
terrible.
the stall, and hide for. Oh, let me put this on. And hide for 20 minutes or whatever it
Hey,
takes us to go over this
Emily.
information.
Arguing is always fun. Yeah,
And then,
clearly.
Yeah, put some headphones in and just hide so that they can listen to our show. So I didn't care what they had going on. Teachers, do whatever you needed to do. It don't matter.
Class, I need to go to the restroom every Friday at 10:30 for like
What's the problem?
30 minutes.
I don't see the problem.
How's work going, everybody?
Hopefully you're taking a break
It's Friday. It's Friday.
and you're not using company time.
It's Friday. It's Friday. You made it to the weekend 'cause it's Friday.
Okay, let's use. It's Friday. It's Friday.
I will burn you right out of here.
You're gonna Bernie me right out of here? That ain't right. All right.
Hi, Amy.
How many minutes is this? 3, 4? Okay.
I have no idea. Where does it even say that?
Top left.
Now I got it.
Okay. Freestyle Friday. Welcome, everyone.
What's up, guys?
This is Casey.
I'm Casey. Oh, this is Kadima.
I'm Kadima. She's at the gas station pumping gas.
Oh,
What's
nice.
up, James?
There's... Oh, James. What's up, James? Different James than I was expecting.
All right, Sergio. That means he's doing nothing right now. He's at his...
Rude.
He's at
Rude.
his desk. He's sitting at his desk. I know how he does this. He has his TV set up, and he's watching us from there, and he's probably going to tell us to get back to work.
That's
But
true.
That's neither here nor there. All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about long-term thinking as it pertains to kind of training, diet, nutrition, any goals that you have within exercise, and kind of how that, what to think about when you're thinking about these things. So we had rambled on this pretty good yesterday, and even when we were making this we're figuring out this topic that we wanted to kind of jam on, because speaks right to us, because our training and what we want from exercise has changed as well over the long term.
For
And
sure.
So we kind of want to help you with the mindset that you should have, depending on what your goal is. If this does not line up with what your goal is, we'll kind of make some suggestions on what you should do. He's installing plants. Sergio is installing plants at a gas station. Yeah, right.
Fake news, Serge.
Hey, James, if you get this shirt, you have to have this, which means you have to work here.
Coach.
So I'm just saying,
Up to you, man.
move back. We'll figure it out. All right. So I guess to start, when you're thinking about long-term training, you have to think about progressions, meaning steps to get to a certain goal. And so what I want to kind of express to you is saying not every day is a PR or a personal record. Not every day do you make the biggest lift you've ever made. Not every day do you run the fastest you've ever ran. And sometimes this can be discouraging because you expect that you put in a certain amount of work over time. Let's say for our gym specifically, about every 3 months, 3 to 4 months, we're going to have benchmarks that we test. We hope to see improvements so that, one, as coaches, we can continue to evolve our workouts so that you do continue to get better. But there's a lot of other factors that go into that. How much sleep did you get the night before you did your testing, right? If you got 1 hour, just 1 hour, 1 to 3 hours less sleep than you did prior nights, your performance could be hindered by 30%. That's just one night. That's how important sleep is to those goals, right? It could be just if you got sick or you're just feeling under weather, or you don't feel like working out. All these little things, mindset-wise and mentality-wise, have an effect on what the numbers could be that day. And so you have to keep that in mind, that it's not going to be your best day every day, right? And that what helps me to do that is this: think about that I got the workout in, and it's going to add up. And there's going to be a time where I have a better score, or I have a better lift, or I have a better time, or whatever I'm trying to accomplish that day. It'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, coming in and thinking that every day, especially like starting off, because whenever you first start lifting and you start conditioning, you have a lot of gains up at the front, towards the beginning of your training. It's like constant progression, right? And then the longer that you're kind of consistent, it feels like, oh my gosh, well, I'm not getting as strong as quickly. And it's this whole mentality of like, you feel like you're failing even though you're still actually getting stronger. You're still actually getting faster. So it's really interesting to have to kind of back out of that and evaluate and say, okay, I actually am still progressing. I actually am, starting to work on this skill that I couldn't do when I started, or I did add 5 pounds to a lift, or whatever it may be. So that mentality and that perspective, I think, has to kind of get checked. Those weren't really things that I personally knew about. And so I would come in every day and train 100% as hard as I could, everything on the table, like where you're like, oh, I need a nap afterwards, like kind of wrecking myself. And and today was a wreck your day self, wreck yourself day. So I think that there's certain days and times, like benchmark workouts, like you were saying, or maybe if you find a 3-rep max or a 5-rep max or whatever you're doing, there's going to be some sort of gain long term, but the mentality can't just be go 100% Ricky Bobby all the time. Ricky Bobby.
No, I agree entirely. James Williams on the 1-day contract. We'll negotiate, but that one day is going to be a tough day. Okay. So, and James Taylor, I'm sorry, we can't start all over.
What's up, Matthew?
Just rewind. All right. Well, I want to add to that because your first couple years of training, when you start, it's like all you have to do is show up. If you show up and work out, your body is yet to see this stimulus before, so you're just changing and growing. It seems like every couple months you're getting stronger. It's wonderful. It's like, I just got to show up. This is fantastic, right? You need to match what your long-term goal or desire is based upon what you're trying to accomplish. Those things have to match together. If it's just to get stronger, that's a great goal, but let's put something to where it goes towards. Like, it has to go towards something. Because if you're just if you sit in an office or most of the time is in a sedentary oriented position most of the day, and you're already strong, and to a certain standard, like you can lift your own body weight on certain things, and you can run a mile nonstop, and you can do all these things already, you're already living a really, really high quality life. And we have to question what's the other purposes of us going a little better. One of the interesting things that we found, one of the studies that we found here, so one of the interesting things, what's up, Corey? One of the interesting things about long-term training, and so we found this study on the effects of long-term training, and they took the results of 98 randomized controlled trials, and the average age of the person was 73 years old. Okay, and what they did is they accumulated 52 hours over a 6-month period of what they would consider conditioning or cardiovascular exercise of some sort. So half of that population, I'm just going to look at my notes here.
It's basically 2 hours a week.
Yeah. So
of
more
training.
than half, 60% of the participants were healthy adults, 26% had mild cognitive impairment, and 15% had dementia. And so what they looked at was, and even prior to the study, more than half of them didn't train. And when they did have them train, this is the kind of exercise that they had them do. Walking, biking, dancing were the most common in the study. And then some did strength training and resistance, and strength training along with mind-body yoga and Tai Chi. So what they found is that they were able to improve their brain processing speed over training in that long term. Now, they weren't able to increase the actual memory, but they were actually able to increase how quickly you could respond to questions, how quickly you could figure out problems, that kind of thing. What's cool about that is it's just another way of showing that it's not necessarily too late to make some changes. And these exercises would be considered, a lot of these, dancing, walking, relatively not high intensity exercises. I would consider them a good start for you to find something that you can enjoy and do consistently for a long term. And that's kind of like on the end, we do high intensity exercise here. We can progress everybody through steps, right, through our Jumpstart program. And through that allows them to kind of make consistent changes. And so they make cardiovascular and strength training at the same time, so they can get the best bang for their buck within that hour. So it's really cool to see how just 2 hours a week that this older population was able to make changes in their long-term health, their long-term thinking in terms of that exercise goes.
Yeah, I think that information like that and the hundreds of other reasons that are beneficial for
What's up, Russ?
For your training. What's up, Dave? There's hundreds of reasons that are beneficial for your training, and it's amazing the second that you walk in the door how quickly you forget those reasons. You forget your intention. And not just you, me too. I've been in the same boat. Not so much now. I'm pretty good at it now. But it's a practice. Remembering why you're here and why you're training. What are you training for? What is your intention for the day? Do you feel good that day? Did you eat well? Did you sleep well? Was your kid up all night bothering you? Whatever the current situation is. Not all of us are in this position where, I've counted my macros for 3 months straight. I sleep 10 hours a night. I only work a part-time job, and I've got all this money. I pretty much just work on mobility and work out 18 hours. That's like this land that most of us don't live in. So keeping your intention on what your purpose is, why are you training? What is your goal? What do you want to be here for? Is so, so important. And yeah.
I mean, I think we
throw this coffee down.
I think on our thing, one of the things that we always talk about with people is that we want them to look better, live better, feel better, right? I think those are the things that everybody wants. They want to have less pain when they wake up. They want to look good when they see themselves in the mirror. Or we call it the LBN program, the Look Better Naked program, and they want to feel good. Those are the things that the majority of people want to do to have, right? And then outside of that, you have some performance oriented people who may be doing another sport, or may have some performance aspirations. Maybe they just want to train hard, right? And they have specific goals that they're trying to achieve, or maybe lifetime things they just want to hit once or do once. Those are there as well. But either way, they have some type of goal that they're trying to achieve and pursue long term, or even in the short term.
So I was going to ask, I'm going to ask you a couple questions because we both have athletic backgrounds. So from a mentality standpoint, talk about where you were mentally when you were training, like college time frame, and where you are mentally now, like a compare contrast.
Okay. So, gosh, in college it was the bigger, faster, stronger program, right? Every year I had to be bigger. Every year I had to be faster. Every year I had to be stronger. And it wasn't like there was no limit. You know, in the sport of football, it was like the stronger you can be, the better. The faster you can be, the better. The bigger you can be, the better, especially for the position I played. You know, so my first year defensive end. After that, I changed to running back and kind of continued to pursue that. So it became important that, you know, the numbers looked at were crucial. And because it's such a short time window of time, you don't play, well, except I guess for Tom Brady, you don't play this excruciatingly long time in a sport like that. So the window is short. So you have to strike, you know, quote unquote, while the iron is hot. So everything was about that short-term training. But I was also had more time to focus on that too, you know?
What mentally, like, what was your training like? Like, what was a training mentality set for you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I had
where
to
was
win.
your head at?
Okay, well, I had to win at everything.
I remember this.
Yeah, I had to win.
Person.
I had to win at everything. I had to, you know, like, I would make decisions in the short term. Like, I'm feeling tight. Okay, my hip is tight, but I got these squats I got to do. Or we're maxing on deadlift today, and for some reason I can't get higher than I did before. And I was willing to risk a possibility of an injury in the short term because I wanted to get a heavier lift.
Or prove something, or
Yes.
prove to yourself, or
Yes.
prove to someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, it became a numbers game. Like, okay, I did this much this time. Next time I better get this much, you know. That is drastically changed. Now it's, as Marshawn Lynch says, you know, or I'm not here. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fat. So I get in there, I get my workout in, I sweat for the day, I watch what I eat, I try to stretch a little bit more so I feel better in the morning, and I no longer chase the numbers because for my life, it doesn't require me to have the same type of goals anymore. I don't need to deadlift 600 pounds and do this and do that. The whole idea now is training for longevity. I want to look good, I want to feel good, and I want to be able to, for me, a measure of that is, if somebody asks me to help them move, which happens quite a lot, or move a couch or whatever it is, I want to be able to get up and do it right then and there. If we're going to go and we're going to do something all day and then, you know, change and go somewhere else, I want to be able to have endless energy to do whatever I need to do for that day and not hesitate on anything else.
So it's funny because I notice, and I know that you do too, with your situation and with hundreds of people that we've trained, if you've ever played a competitive sport, or you are competitive at all by nature, then there is this thing inside of your head that you have to constantly check. And it's going from that, I got to win, I got to win, I got to go. And I was the same way. And so how did you get from that competitive athlete? Like, how did you, and I kind of watched this progress with you and you with me, but how did you keep yourself in check as you went from training like an athlete to training for your lifestyle?
I think priorities started to help with that. Like, some things, just life is happening, right? Where, like, you can't, the amount of commitment that it takes as you get older to train at that level requires more time. That's one thing. right? Then I looked at, I wasn't feeling like, if you train like a competitor, you feel less good. You don't feel as good.
We don't have to talk properly. It's okay.
I knew that I felt worse. Like, sure, I could perform well, but man, things ached more, and it was affecting the relationships around me. Like, it was such that mentality of, I got to compete, I got to win. It's hard to shake after you lost.
Yeah.
Like, you get out of the thing and you lost, and you're like, supposed to be a good sport, good game, blah, 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 good workout, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I should have had that workout. And you're mulling over in your mind what mistakes you made in there, as if you're going to like the CrossFit Games or something, or you're going to some like major competition. We're just in the gym for that day. We're literally just in the gym for that day.
I know. Yes.
So I had to pull that back and say what was really important. Do I look good? I feel like I look good. Do I feel good? There's still this nagging thing. Well, let me pull off of that training for that today, and let me think long term. I want to be able to do this 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever. And so that became the focus.
Yeah.
Is thinking about the long term. And then it becomes, well, exercise is fun. Don't get me wrong. But if I could not exercise and look exactly like this and eat whatever I wanted, no one would actually, well, there's probably some out there, but I wouldn't. Hey, Jessica, I probably wouldn't. I just wouldn't. If I could eat whatever I want, look like this, I wouldn't, okay? Exercise makes me do this. It does. James has a good question. He says, what are some good tips for staying motivated once goals are being met? I have to schedule it. I have to schedule those things. So having daily, like, habitual scheduling helps me to achieve it, because I put it in a different category. Like, just getting to the gym is now my victory. I get to the gym, I start doing something. We have this saying that we kind of stole from somebody else, but if we're not feeling like working out, we always say, let's just get on the road and see where it takes us, right? And really, that is, I'm taking a step to start something, right? And I think through that helps us stay motivated. And it just, because there is some days where you don't feel like it, but I just go not as hard on those days, and it still accomplishes the goal of doing something.
I think it also some things to help you stay motivated if you're already crushing your goals or whatever, is set new goals. Number one. Number two, you can work with a coach to give you some more one-on-one if you're not sure what you want to do. Maybe there's things that you haven't even thought of, or that you don't even know that you could be training for in addition to your current programming. Also, I think training with people is beneficial if you are just doing whatever. I don't know where you're at currently with your goals, but whatever they may be, surrounding yourself by people that have similar goals or that are training for similar things will be beneficial to you.
No, I agree. I agree with that exactly. I don't know if you covered this, but really checking what your expectations are, right? If you set up the wrong expectations to begin with, like you set the goals too high, that's going to be an issue. Even from a
mentality standpoint, like from your mental standpoint, I think that's, I feel like I can speak better for women than for men, but maybe it's just people in general. It's so easy to beat yourself up. It's so easy to have a day where you thought you were going to do something and you don't quite live up to your expectations, and it's like, man, there's another fail. There's another thing that I just didn't do. But it's like, dude, you just showed up to the gym. Like, you did something that a lot of people aren't doing. Praise yourself for that. Like, there should be some sort of victory and some sort of accomplishment in the fact that you just showed up. You did do the work. It may not have been your best training day, but it was work. You put in work. You were here consistently. You showed up 4 times this week. You worked on mobility after class. I saw it. Like, you're already winning. Stop being so hard on yourselves. I don't, a lot of comments just came. Okay. What just happened?
Okay, so Shane says, just buy all of your clothes 2 sizes too small. You have no choice but to show up.
I'm trying to get these gains. I'm trying to bust out of these clothes. Dad.
If we check, and then James Taylor says, if we check our expectations, should we also check ourselves, lest we wreck ourselves? Absolutely.
Should you check yourself before you wreck yourself?
That's 100%. You have to.
Okay.
So
I'm back.
When you check your expectations, think about it like this, right? You didn't get out of shape overnight. You're not going to get in shape overnight. It's going to take longer. And I think it's kind of cool to set little milestones, but let's set the milestones on the right information. Jacob did a really good Tip Tuesday on this about checking your body composition and not checking the weight, because there's several things. If you had a dinner that had a lot of salt, a lot of sodium in it, you'll hold water, you'll weigh more. You're going to be discouraged by the fact that the scale says more, instead of being encouraged by your clothes fitting better or your body fat being a little bit lower. There's all little things like that I think you need to consider when you're looking at long term. I had lunch yesterday. I had rusty taco, and that was not in my plan, my eating plan for the day. It's okay. I ate some tacos. I enjoyed the tacos. Okay, I got back on the horse, right, and ate the rest of the stuff I was supposed to eat for the day. Long term, 5 years from now, those 3 tacos that I ate yesterday are not going to be like, man, they're sitting right here. I can see the imprint of the tacos. They're still here.
God, okay? That's not the way it works.
That's not the way it works. So you just eat the meal and you go on, and what I have to put in for me is to treat myself, to figure out a small little treat that helps me not feel like I put myself in a position that is too hard, like where it's like, man, when you start questioning why you're doing what you're doing, when you're the one who started doing it, you probably did it too hard. You probably set the goal too high. Just my personal.
I was just trying to follow along with when you started doing what you were doing. No. I love that. Okay. I'm going to make you a shirt
that says the tacos are right here.
The tacos are right there. Okay. Yeah. So another thing to just kind of go into add on to that is I call it Uncle Rico syndrome, because you guys like, all right, I'm going to go in now. I'm going to throw this football right over them mountains over there. Like, you see this? Like, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to train so hard.
If they would have put me in, I would have took state.
Yeah, exactly. Like, calm down. This is just a part of your everyday life. Like, you come in here and you go to your gym or wherever you are to just get a little bit better every day. And like, I don't remember why my parents used to do this when we were little. They would like draw a timeline, like 0 to 100 years. Let's just say that we're going to live 100 years, because what? So you draw a timeline. 0, I think that's right for you guys. 0 is here. 100 is here. Okay, you do your age. You shade it in, right? You shade in how old you are. And then that will give you some perspective of your lifeline, where you are, right, in time. So if we wanted to train for 100 years, because we want to train in forever,
yep.
Right? You have to look at what your perspective is, what your mindset is when you walk in the door. Like, keep that perspective of, how much longer am I going to be training? Do I want to move well? Do I have to go so hard today? Is today just a training day, or is it a mindset, a mental day, or a mental toughness day, or a benchmark, or like have those different times, and listening to your body.
Uncle Rico syndrome is hard to combat, okay? It catches us all, especially if you've done a workout and you tried really hard and you're like, man, and
like today.
As much as I love to track, like, I love tracking what I've done, right? Because I just like to see the numbers. Sometimes when you see them, right, and you did like really well, and it's nowhere near what you did before, that's a open invitation for Uncle Rico syndrome. Okay?
Uncle Rico's like, hey.
He's right there, and he's on your shoulder, and he's throwing a football. okay? In
Over
his
a
down,
mountain.
in his van, okay? With his camera set up. He's just right there, okay? Don't let him be there. What I then have to do is I have to check myself right there. I have to check myself right there and remember what I'm training for. That number that was my best PR of this was when I was training for this. I am no longer training for this. I'm training to look good, feel good, and live good. That's what I'm training for. So it's hard to go back and go, man, I used to be able to do this. Man, when I was 18, I could do this. Look.
You ain't 18.
Look, father time or mother time gets us all. Okay? It gets us all. All right? There's no, look, we don't have to get morbid here, but I'm going to get it for just a second. We're all going to die. We're all going to get old. It's going to happen. So what you should be looking at is living a really quality life for a long time. And if you want to perform at the highest level that you can, that's cool too, but just keep it in check. Because you're setting yourself up, if you want to perform at the highest level at every single age or whatever, you're going to experience more injuries. There's no way to avoid it. There isn't. Even if you push hard every day, some stuff, depending on what you've done the week before, it can start to be aggravating. And so you have to keep that in check no matter what. Mm-hmm. Even as I'm training smarter today, there are some little things that I have to watch out for. I have to make sure that I'm stretching more. That's one of the big things that I did. My goals for 2020 is to stretch a lot more, to spend 15 to 20 minutes every single day stretching. And I've realized a difference in my performance.
Yeah.
Just from stretching.
Well, I can tell a difference in. Obviously, I see you down here doing mobility much more often, but it benefits everything. Getting up, maybe the fact that you probably sit down a little more now than you ever have, which is probably the case for the majority of you guys that are training in here. We sit a lot. And even if you don't sit, even if you're standing and moving around, the importance of stretching, thank goodness for gymnastics. But the importance of, you want to do splits training?
No, Amy called me out last year and was like, hey, you need to do this splits training program. And so this is a recall back to that splits training program that I did not do.
I can't wait.
So, and then, yes, Sergio, Father Time stalked and catfished me too, man.
Yeah.
It catfishes us all.
Yeah, but that stretching is a training specific goal for 2020, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
While you may not be adding on, like your goal isn't to deadlift 600 pounds anymore, it's shifted, and now we're training for something that's more practical for feeling better long term, right? Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Joints have to last. All the pounding that I did on my joints as a teen, 20s, mid-20s to 30s, right around 30, I think I started to calm down a little bit. All that pounding and not really stretching, because the only time I stretch is when something hurt.
Yeah.
That's honest.
That's a mistake.
So now I can't make up necessarily for all that time, but what I can do is improve what I can at this time, right? And just look at it like, and it's enjoyable. It's become an enjoyable thing. I look forward to actually doing the stretching. So
yeah,
I really set my expectation as low as possible.
I think also, there's several adults. We have such an array of people at this gym, and with different goals that are constantly changing. I've got clients that want single leg work strength. I've got clients that want to do a Spartan race. I've got clients that want to back squat 300. I've got clients that want to be a competitive athlete. I've got a majority of clients, a lot of clients who we just work on mobility. I would say the majority of the extra stuff is mobility related. And I think that having those, what is your intention? They say that in yoga a lot. When we go to yoga, they'll say, what is your intention for your training today? Find your intention, and then let's focus on that. And I know it sounds kind of like, woo, but at the same time, it's true. What is your intention when you walk in the door? Is it to have better mobility? Is it to have that goal where you're maybe working one-on-one with a coach to, obtain a certain thing? There's a million different reasons, and they're constantly changing, and that's fine. Whatever keeps you on your feet and keeps you training and keeps you happy, we're here to help and support you and help you in the safest, best way that we know possible. But yeah.
If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
We'll stay on for like maybe a couple more minutes, and then we're going to hightail it out of here. We're going to...
Our coffee's gone.
We're going to be done. Something like that.
I'm out of coffee.
Do.
This is where, like, at the end of the news shows, they go like this.
And pretend like they're doing stuff.
They like,
do we need to mute ourselves to do that?
start organizing the...
I think it's on now. But we're like, oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. There's no questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of fun doing these, and we're going to keep it going. So we'll see you next Friday at 10:30 a.m. for Freestyle Friday. So, thank you.
Peace. Love and chicken grease.